something that Webb felt was this. You gotta understand one thing. My objective is to tilt him to the left. If my body's on this side here, it's gonna be hard to tilt him to the left because I need to get to this position here so that his arm is across here and I can begin to get perpendicular, okay? My right hip should make contact with his left knee, okay? So we'll take this a little bit. So what I mean is this, your guard, your legs are a huge part of your guard. This is not a belt for just dangling purposes around his waist. This should be able to break his posture down, okay? Climb higher, higher. In self-defense scenarios, your knees and his armpits and playing what's called a high guard are vital for him to have limited ability to pull his arms back and punch. See how he can't really punch and I can block it more easily? Versus here, he can yeah, I don't want that. And I want to be breaking his posture here, okay? Now going back to this arm lock right here, I want to overreach, chop, hip here. Now if you notice, I can feel my left hip touching his right knee. So what I need to do is this. I need to lift my hip to the right, shoulders, hip, shoulder. Now my right hip is touching his left knee as I tilt him this way here. I have to keep tilting him this way so that my right leg can come up and clamp here and keep tilting him all balanced here as my left leg comes up. This means you're pointing at something. This means you're controlling. This does you no good because my foot's gonna cramp right here. This locks my hips into his back and I align my spine with my left knee. Because if I'm here, it's different. Here I'm just lifting my hip and you see how it exposes his arm. So I have a fulcrum and I'm controlling his arm, okay? So I have to have my spine in alignment. There comes a point where you're here, okay? And you'll scoot your hip out one time and you realign your spine with this arm, okay? Once you feed this here, move it over and get your right hip to their left knee. So look, my guard, I can lift my hip, move it to the right. See how my head went left? I pick my shoulders up. I'm not going, pick it up, and I set it here. One more time, hip, here. Because now, I can put on his hip, turn, realign, and I have this on. From here, if you lift your hip, you'll see how you create that fulcrum. I'm not trying to push him away. I need my hips to keep his arm from slipping out. Far too often, you push him away, you create a hole and you can pull that arm out. That's what this lapel is for, okay? Here, I lift my hip, turn his thumb up, and I pull it to create the fulcrum with my hips. If I'm here, no matter where I pull his arm, there's no fulcrum. The problem here is also, with my lower back on the mat, he can drive enemy and stack me. Now as I lift, all the weight is on my shoulders. You see my lower back went down just because I'm already feeling him tilting, and you see how this arm's exposed. I lift the hip, and I break the arm. And then I go back. Grip, okay. Hip, up, right, shoulders, hip, shoulder here, frame here. I can put my foot on the mat, here, scoot the hip, frame, realign, lift my hip, and finish, okay. That arm's great, because I can also work here, okay. If he pulls his arm out, somehow, I have omoplatas and shoulder. But for now, move your hips to the right, shoulders to the right. Hip right, shoulder right. Hip right, shoulder right. So you can tilt them to the left. And we'll go over one more. We should have time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. While your guard is high, hip right, and then shoulders right.